Jai Saparika Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Paribrajakacharya Ashtottara Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhamsa Paribrajakacharya Ashtottara Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakha Sri Dharadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya SCSMission morning class. I think this one's not on. Jai Dhanavad.
Closer to your mouth.
Which mic? Oh, this one? Okay. Haribo. Is that better?
Yes.
Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Charitāmṛta Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam. Haribo. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitāmṛta. Continuing now to read the Ancha-lila, Volume 2, full of the pastimes of Krishna with Srimati Radharani. And we're reading these happily. Of course, spiritual life is a very happy life. It's a challenging life, but it is a happy life. And it's not that we don't feel a little bit overwhelmed at times with especially gratitude. You know, it can even bring tears to our eyes. And you know, the fact that the Lord is there, He's trying to send so much help. It just indicates how merciful He is, how compassionate He is. All these things are quite touching for us. And the upper side, we're worshipping from a distance and trying to offer some service as is possible by us. So it's a very sweet life, and sometimes very challenging, And but those challenges are necessary for our progress. So we are happy with that as well. After a while. not maybe immediately in a moment, but when we can remember the Lord, as soon as we can remember the Lord, the sooner the better, literally. So here we are in the Ancha-lila. Yes, sir. Mr. Ishwarananda Prabhu, who's just returned from the Lotus, well, he hasn't left the Lotus Street of his Sri Gurudev, but he's here with us now.
Can you tell me exactly where we're reading from? So
yes. We're on 17, chapter 17 of the Ancha-lila. This is the first volume. And the name of the chapter is The Bodily Transformations of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So for anyone who, I don't know, the bodily transformations of Mahaprabhu are impossible for any person with, on the mundane bodily platform. So, and there is Mr. Krishnananda Prabhu. Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Jai Srila Prabhupada Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki Jai. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives the following summary of the 17th chapter in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasya. Absorbed in transcendental ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went out one night without opening the doors to his room. After crossing over 3 walls, he fell down among some cows belonging to the district of Tailanga. There he remained unconscious, assuming the aspect of a tortoise. Likhite Srila Gorendor Atyadbhutam Alokikam Jadistam Tamukatstrutva Divyunmada Vichestitam. I am simply trying to write about Sri Gaurachandra. Thank you, Prabhu. I am simply trying to write about Lord Gaurachandra's transcendental activities and spiritual madness, which are very wonderful and uncommon. I dare to write of them only because I have heard from the mouths of those who have personally seen the Lord's activities. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhaktivinoda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All glories to Lord Nityananda. All glories to Advaita Chandra, and all glories to the devotees of the Lord. E Mata Mahaprabhu Ratre Divase Unmadera Chestra Pralapakare Prema Veshe. Absorbed in ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu acted and talked like a madman day and night. Akadina Prabhu Swarupa Ramananda Sange Ardharatri Gonaila Krishna Katarange. In the company of Swarup Damodar Goswami and Ramananda Rai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once passed half the night talking about the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Of course, he did this many times, but this is like in one particular incident. Jabije Baba Prabhurakaraye Udaya Bhava Nurupa Gita Gaya Swarupa Mahashaya. As they talked of Krishna, Swarup Damodar Goswami would sing songs exactly suitable for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's transcendental emotions. So sometimes those transcendental emotions were expressed as though he were suffering like someone bitten by a cobra, is the analogy given. But Swarup Damodar is reciting verses that enhance those feelings. So these are the opposite of mundane feelings, and you can keep that in mind. Vijapati Chandidasa Shri Gita Govinda Bhavanurupa Shloka Padena Raya Ramananda. To complement the ecstasy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ramananda Rai would quote verses from the books of Vidyapati and Chandidas, and especially from the Gita Govinda by Jayadev Goswami. And what would I normally say with this verse, or anyone? We don't read these books. Majje majje apane prabhu shloka padiya Shlokera arta karena prabhu vilapa kariya. At intervals, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would also recite a verse, and then in great lamentation, he would explain it. E mate nana bhave adaratri haila gosanire shayana karai dunhe kare gela. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed half the night experiencing varieties of emotions. Finally, after making the Lord lie down on his bed, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai returned to their homes. Gambhirara dware Govinda Karila Shayana Shabaratre Prabhu Karena Ucha Sankirtana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's personal servant Govinda lay down at the door of his room, and the Lord very loudly chanted the Hare Krishna Mahamantra all night. Achambite shunena Prabhu Krishna Benugana Bhavaveshe Prabhu Taha Karila Prayana. Now Mahaprabhu, whether he was awake or whether he was sleeping, was in full Krishna, like full absorption in divine Leela. He doesn't sleep like we do. Guru Maharaj has said, even in sleep there is a type of Leela in the divine pastimes. Restful. Achambite shunena Prabhu Krishna Benugana Bhavaveshe Prabhu Taha Karila Prayana. Suddenly Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard the vibration of Krishna's flute. Then in ecstasy he began to depart to see Krishna. Tina dware kapata aichya cheta lagilaya Bhavaveshe Prabhu Gela Bahira Hanya. All three doors were fastened as usual, but Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in great ecstasy nevertheless got out of the room and left the house. Shingha dwara dakine achitai langiga bigana taha jai padila Prabhu hanya achetana. He went to a cowshed on the southern side of the Singha Dwar. There the Lord fell down unconscious among the cows in the district of Tailanga. Atta Govinda Mahaprabhu Shabdana Panya Swarupere Bolaila Kapata Kuliya. Meanwhile, not hearing any sounds from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Govinda immediately sent for Swarup Damodar and opened the doors. Tabe Swarupa Gosai Shangelanya Bhaktagana Deuti Jwaliya Karena Prabhura Anveshana. Then Swarup Damodar Goswami lit a torch and went out with all the devotees to search for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Iti uti anveshiya Singhadware Gela Gabigana Majhe Jai Prabhure Paila. After searching here and there, they finally came to the cowshed near the Singhadwara. There they saw Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lying unconscious among the cows. Petera vitara hastapada kurmera akara Mukhe pena pakka kanga netreya shrudara. His arms and legs had entered into the trunk of his body, exactly like those of a tortoise. So if we're trying to picture this as a material body, that the legs and arms are suddenly pushed into the body, that will not be a favorable impression. We have to remember, Mahaprabhu's form is completely transcendental, and all of these expressions are extremely beautiful.
And his body was emanating beautiful scent.
Yeah.
So the cows came.
Yes. Petera bitara hastapara kumera akara ukipena. I just read this, but Pena pula kanga netreya shudara. His arms and legs had entered the trunk of his body exactly like those of a tortoise. His mouth was foaming and there were eruption on his body and tears flowed from his eyes. And this is, he is unconscious and still tears are coming out. Achetana, unconscious, of course, we have already discussed this, but this does not mean the type of unconsciousness experienced by us in this world. Achetana patiya chena kushmandapala bahire jadima antare ananda vivala. As the Lord lay there unconscious, his body resembled a large pumpkin. Externally, he was completely inert, but within he felt overwhelming transcendental bliss. Gabi sabha chaudike shunke prabhura shriyanga dura kaile nahi chade prabhura shriyanga sanga. All the cows around the Lord were sniffing his transcendental body. When the devotees tried to check them, they refused to give up their association with the transcendental body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Aneka karila jatna nahaya Chaitanya prabhure uttanya gade anila bhaktagana. The devotees tried to rouse the Lord by various means, but his consciousness did not return. Therefore they lifted him and brought him back home. Uchakari shravane kare nama sankirtana anekakshane mahaprabhu paila chaitanya. All the devotees began to chant the Hare Krishna mantra very loudly in the Lord's ears. And after a considerable time, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu regained consciousness. Chaitanya haile hastapada bahire aila purvavachata yogya sharira haila. When he regained consciousness, his arms and legs came out of his body and his whole body returned to normal. Uttiya bashilena prabhu chahena iti utti swarupe kahena tumi ama anila kati. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stood up and then sat down again. Looking here and there, he inquired from Charitāmṛta, "Where have you brought me?" Benu shabda shuniyami gelanya brindavana deki goshte venu bhajaya brajendra nandana. After hearing the vibration of a flute, I went to Vrindavan, and there I saw that Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, was playing on his flute in the pasturing grounds. Shanketa benu nade rata ani kunjagare kunjere chalila Krishna krida karibare. He brought Srimati Radharani to a bower by signaling with his flute. He then entered within that bower to perform pastimes with her. Tara pache pache amikari nugamana Tara bhushadvanite amarahari lashvarana. I entered the bower just behind Krishna, my ears captivated by the sound of his ornaments. Gopikana saha viharahasha parihasa Kantadvani ukti shuni mora karnolasa. I saw Krishna and the gopis enjoying all kinds of pastimes while laughing and joking together. Hearing their vocal expressions enhanced the joy of my ears. Hanakale tumi shabakola halakari ama ihalanya aila balatkara kari. Just then all of you made a tumultuous sound that brought me back here by force. Shunite napainu se amrita samavani Shunite napainu bhushana murali tatvani. Because you brought me back here, I could no longer hear the nectarian voices of Krishna and the gopis, nor could I hear the sounds of their ornaments or the flute. Bhava vesha swarupe kahena gadgadavani karna trishnaya mare padarasayana shuni. In great ecstasy, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to Swarup Damodar in a faltering voice, "My ears are dying of thirst. Please recite something to quench this thirst. Let me hear it." Swarupa Gosai Prapura Bhava Janiya Bhagavatera Shloka Pade Madhura Kariya. Understanding the ecstatic emotions of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Swarup Damodar in a sweet voice recited the following verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam. Kastyanga te kala padamrita benugita samohitarya karitana chale trilokyam trilokya shobhagamidam chanirikshyarupam yad godvija druma mriga pulakanya Yad go dvija druma mriga pulakanya bibran. The gopi said, my dear Lord Krishna, where is that woman within the three worlds who would not be captivated by the rhythms and the sweet songs coming out from your wonderful flute? Who would not fall down from the path of chastity in this way? Your beauty is most sublime within the three worlds. Upon seeing your beauty, even cows, birds, animals, and trees in the forest are stunned in jubilation. So, we know in this plane, the consciousness of the body and the body are two things. But Krishna's form and Krishna himself are completely one and the same. And in fact, the forms of all those in the transcendental plane are who they are. They are actually the form of themselves, who is the soul. And of course, what to speak of those who are in the topmost plane, under Hladini Shakti herself. But so Krishna's form is not like, oh, he has this body, but this is who Krishna is. He is so beautiful. Shuni Prabhu Gopi. So why don't we see him? Because these senses are like the ear holes of a snake. They're practically dead. We cannot plunder the beauty of Krishna with these senses. Shuni Prabhu Gopi Bhave Avishta Haila Bhagavatera Shlokera Arta Karite Lagila. Upon hearing this verse, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, overwhelmed with the ecstasy of the gopis, began to explain it. Haila Gopi Bhava Vesha Kaila Rase Paravesha Krishnera Shuni Upeksha Vachana Krishnera Mukha Hasyavani Tyagetaha Satyamani Rose Krishna Dena Aolahana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, the gopis entered the arena of the rasa dance in ecstasy. But after hearing Krishna's words of negligence and detachment, they understood that he was going to renounce them. Thus they began to chastise him in anger. Nagara kaha tumi kariya nishchoy etvi jagat bari ache etvi jagat bari ache jata yogya nari tomara benu kahana akarshai. Oh dear lover, they said, please answer just one question. Who among all the youthful women within this universe is not attracted by the sound of your flute? You are playing your flute, what do you expect? Now you're giving us instructions to run away, go back home and do our duty. Karile jagate benudvani siddha mantra yogini dutihanya mohe nariman mahot kanta badanya aryapata chadanya anitomaya kare samarpana. When you play your flute, the vibration acts like a messenger in the form of a yogini, perfect in the art of chanting mantras. This messenger enchants all the women in the universe and attracts them to you. Then she increases their great anxiety and induces them to give up the regulated principle of obeying superiors. Finally, she forcibly brings them to you to surrender in amorous love. So, the universe that the gopis are referring to is not this one, where somebody may get a female body and in the next life get a male body, and so on and so on, of course. Dharma chadaya benu dware hanya kataksha kamasare lajabaya shakala chadai ebe amaya karirosha kahipati tyage dosha dharmika hanya dharma shikai. The vibration of your flute, accompanied by your glances, which pierces us forcibly with the arrows of lust, induces us to ignore the regulated principles of religious life. And this lust is like we've been discussing, this, atyahara prayas such as prajalpa, niyamagraha, sangha, lolium, anyway, this the first verse, lolium. This is the positive and eternal, auspicious and wondrous position of lolium. And this mundane lolium being the demoniac opposite. So it is ignore the regulated principles. This vibration of your flute accompanied by your glance, which pierces us and forcibly with the arrows of lust, meaning the inconceivable necessity to serve you, induces us to ignore the regulated principles of religious life. And serving the Lord in the mood of a servant is what we are aspiring for. And we are worshipping those who are in the mood of friendship to the Lord, because that is more deeply in the plane of transcendental Saranagati. So what is very, very high, being the servant of the Lord, which we are aspiring for, and worshipping the mood of friendship, dasyayame, vishastu nityam, sakyayame, namastu sakyam. So this, satyam and nityam, I don't know if I confused those, but we are worshipping sakyayame, namastu. We're not thinking we're in that mood, but we are aspiring for the mood. So what I'm trying to get at is that what to speak of the mood of Vatsalya, it is more deep, more fine, more intense, in the line of inconceivable purity. There's no impurity in any of them, but deeper, more pure, most pure. So the divine feelings of Madhura Ras are even higher than those of parental love. So we have to see the opposite way that we've ever seen things. And what is the highest thing in the original is the lowest thing in the reflection. Right? Like if a tree is on the bank of the water, on the bank of a river, the highest point of the tree is the lowest point in the reflection. So we're not to confuse these things in any way, and that's why we don't really, we have a tendency to do that. So we are very much forbidden to connect ourselves with certain books, because they are freely describing these things in the full innocence. But because we are not innocent, we will misunderstand these things very quickly. Thus we become excited by lusty desires and come to you, giving up all shame and fear. So this religion, religiousness is like, but now you are angry with us. You are finding fault with our violating religious principles and leaving our homes and husbands. And as you instruct us about religious principles, we become helpless. Anya kata anyamana bahire anya acharana e shabashata paripati tumi jana parihasa haya narira sarvanasha chada e shavakutinati. Kutinati. It's a very cute word. It means clever tricks. We all know that this is a well-planned trick. You know how we make you know how to make jokes that cause the complete annihilation of women. But we can understand that your real mind, words, and behavior are different. Therefore, please give up these clever tricks. Benu nada amrita gole, amrita samana mita bole, amrita samana bhushana singjita. Tina amrite hare kana, hare mana hare prana. Kamane nari dari bekachita. The nectarian buttermilk of your flute's vibration, the nectar of your sweet words, and the nectarian sound of your ornaments mixed together to attract our ears, minds, and lives. In this way, you are killing us. So I guess we'll stop here because we went over a little time. And these are beautiful transcendental prayers. Brother Brajagopi said we're keeping high above our heads and only discussing them in the matter of how they are not anything that we have ever had any connection or experience of ever. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitāmṛta ki Jai, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj ki Jai, Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Jai. Now, coming to Upadeśāmṛta, Prabhu, do you know where these printouts are?
Yeah.
So we're chanting them in the morning, as you know, and gradually memorizing them. And the more we try to memorize, the more that we're, exercising that muscle, you can say. And we will get better and better at doing it. Some people are born with really astonishing memories. And I've met some of those people who can just remember things. But I personally have to work pretty hard at it. But the more I do memorize, the better it gets easier. And then after some time it gets harder again if I don't keep it up. So this is Upadeśāmṛta. And number 1, Vacho, Jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki Jai. And again, Srila Rupa Goswami has given us many books. Well, many books he has written. And a few of them, like Upadeśāmṛta and Bhakti-rasamrita Sindhu, we are encouraged to read, but others we are definitely not allowed to read. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jiva vegam udaropasta vegam etan vegam yo vishaheta dhira sarvam apimam pritivim sasisya. So these are the 6 urges. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagraha janasangaschaloyam cha sadbir bhakti vinashyati. Those 6 things which are very much dangerous for devotional progress. Utsahan nishayatarya tatat karma pravartana sangatyagat sato vritte sadbir bhakti prasiddhati, and those things which are very favorable and nourishing for devotion. Dadati pratigratnati guhyamakyati pritchati bhunkte bojayate chaiva sadvidham pratilakshanam. The 6 exchanges of affection between devotees. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta dikshasi chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham Shishushraya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya nindadi sunya hridam ipsita sangalabdya. These are the qualities of, or the different relationships between us and those who are chanting the holy name. Drishtai sabhava janitai vapushasya dosha na prakritatvam iha bhakta janasya pasye gangam vasam na kalu buddha pena pankir brahma dravatvam apagachati niradharmai. Comparison of the devotees, great devotees, with the Ganga. And even, generally this is the great devotees, but also, those who are very much keen on devotional progress, also we will try to associate with the best part of everyone and not think too much about their faults. That will be a problem, unless one has some duty to be an instructor, but still trying to see that inner sincerity always. Syatna Krishna nama charitari sitapya vidya pito patapta rasanasya narochikanu kinvadaradhanudinam kalu saiva justa swadvikamad bhavati tad kadamula hantri. Will destroy the root of the Lord's name, will destroy the name and the qualities and so on, the sweetness of those will come out and destroy. I always try to say this in a very short way, like the other ones, but you really can't. The ignorance which is keeping us from tasting the sweetness of those things. Tannama rupa charitari sukirtananu smricho kramena rasanas manasi niyojya tishtan brajetadhanuragi jaganugami kalam nayera kilamityupadeshasaram. How to engage. This is the essence of instruction. Vaikuntas janito bhara madhupuri tatrapi rasotsavad vrindaranyam udarapani ramana tatrapi govardhana. Go ahead. Prema bhavana kuryadasya birajato giritate sevang viveki nakaha. These are the gradations of the different dhams according to the science of rasa. Karmibhya parito hare priyataya vyaktim yayurgyanina tepyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premaika nishtastata tevyasta pashupala pankaja drishasta vyopi saradika prestastadvariyam tadiya sharasi tangnashrayet kakriti. So, more dear to Krishna in all respects than the performers of pious deeds are knowers of Brahman. More dear than them. Somehow that's not coming out easily with me, and I keep forgetting to look it up. More dear than those devotees are devotees completely free from knowledge of Brahman. More dear than those devotees are devotees fixed exclusively in divine love. And more dear to those are the gopis. More dear to those is Sri Radhika. Her lake is similarly dear to Krishna. What fortunate soul would not take shelter there? The divine lake, Radhakund, is as dear to Krishna as is Sri Radha. We got the chance to go there with Srila Govinda Maharaj. I've told this story before, but it just popped into my head again. The entire morning was completely I just kept thinking, what am I doing here? It's like it was impossible to believe that that was happening, even though I have no conception of Radhakund or anything like that, but just we know about it, something. And here we are with Srila Govinda Maharaj. And he picked up the water of the Kund and just splashed it on all of our heads. It's like, is this really happening? Is this a dream? Anyway, not that I really understand any of it, but just even theoretically, it was completely astonishing for us. Hari Bol. Okay, so, I mean, I'm not saying that, anything high or anything, just the fact that Gurudev was so merciful, and he did take us around. He took us, we went, he took the devotees around, right? We were there with him in many places. Okay, so now we're continuing to read Srila Guru Maharaj's beautiful commentary on verse 10. Jai Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sri Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Hari Bol. So, page 256. And this is in the middle of the page. We don't have this book on the website books, do we?
What book is it?
I have...
I don't think so.
No.
But I'm, nothing in between my ears, I don't know.
But it is nice if we could, find a... But maybe I'm wrong, but I have looked on it. I've looked before and I wasn't able to find it. Maybe I was...
Where is it book, Didi?
Yeah. I don't... Unless I somehow missed it. But it's nice to be able to follow along, isn't it? Okay, so... Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Ki Jai. Okay. Dvaite Badra Badra Jnana Shabha Mano Dharma E Bala E Mara E Manda E Shabha Brahma. Amidst duality in the material existence, all notions of good and bad are functions of the mind. This good, this is bad. Both are misunderstanding. Both good dreams and bad dreams they're both false. Similarly, in our mundane calculation, good and bad are both false. Whenever we are in a mundane stage, we cannot but engage in mundane works, meaning in the mental sphere. Whenever we are in a mundane stage, we cannot but engage in mundane works. So anyhow, to connect it with the Lord, to give the result to Him, is good. But here we rise up to a plane where we shall reject all good and bad, wait for His direction, and then proceed accordingly, without any conception of good and bad. And supremely, that is what we've been hearing about in Chaitanya Charitāmṛta. In the lower stage, according to our previous impressions and lower understanding, we do things and take them to our guardian. In the higher stage, we do not do anything independently. Rather, we act according to the order of the guardian. A son may go out and earn some money in a good or bad way, by black marketing or all these things, and then offer it to his guardian. That is one level. And the higher thing is for him not to do anything without the order of his guardian. That is higher. Then Ramananda proposed karma tyag, swadharma tyag. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Completely disassociate with those duties that you think are proper for you in your present position. Give up all these duties and come forward toward the Lord exclusively. Bal Gadadhar Tilak gave a very good description of this verse in his edition of the Bhagavad Gita. In this last verse, the Lord has distributed nectar on a golden plate. This Sarvadharman Parityajya, Mamekam Sharanam Bhaja. In this last verse, the Lord has distributed nectar on a golden plate. Ramananda Rai also cited this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Agyayaivam gunandoshan mayadishtanapi svakan dharma santyagya dharman santajya sarvan mangbak bhajeta satu satama. The duties that are ordered by me in the scriptures for different stages up to the constitutional methods of progress. The duties that are ordered by me in the scriptures for different stages are constitutional methods of progress. But now I'm telling you to give them up and take up the path of revolution. Give up everything and come to me, and I shall protect you. So Srila Gurudev calls this subjective revolution. Evolution, he said, is a general thing. One thing going to another. But revolution is given in this verse in the Gita. Jai Shri Guru Gaura Chandra Jai, beautiful Giriraj Ki Jai. Whatever we may be according to our karma does not matter at all. From there, we should give up everything and jump toward Krishna. You are everything to me. I want you. The Lord is calling us. All phases of duty should be abandoned. The ultimate end is to take refuge under my feet. And you will not have to be pained for that. You will amply be rewarded. Leave aside all conceptions of duty you can imagine and understand. Give up everything you have acquired so far. So much risk you are to take. Whatever conception of duty you have so far, give it up entirely. So duty here is referring to the socio-religious duties of the Varnashram system. And, we've talked about this before, but Mahabharata is full of religion. It's just full of religion. And those who are really, really following it also. Very strictly. And always in a quandary. Well, what should we do now? Because it says in this book and that, we don't know. Krishna's saying, I'm right here. I gave these, and now I'm telling you, just don't be absorbed in that. Do everything for me. Give up this mentality of religiosity. So one may say, okay, if he's giving up his duty, then why does he fight? He's a Kshatriya, and it's the Kshatriya's duty to fight. So if Krishna is saying, give up your duty, why does the Gita conclude in fighting? It's not that we're giving up the physical duty. If that is in line with the order of the Lord, then we do that. We can do many, many things, but we're doing it for Him, and that may change. That can change. So we're ready for that. That is way above religion. So this is being described in this verse. Better than those. So, and now Guru Maharaj is taking us straight to this verse. Wherever we may be according to our karma, meaning Vaishya, Shudra, or, in our case, maybe Sudra, if we're not within the Varna, we're not allowed in the gates of the Vedic city, basically. And it doesn't matter. That's the astonishing thing. Wherever we may be according to our karma does not matter at all. From there we should give up everything and jump toward Krishna. You are everything to me. I want you. The Lord is calling us. All phases of duty should be abandoned. The ultimate end is to take refuge under my feet, and you will not have to be pained for that. You will be amply rewarded. You're not going to get punished for that. Leave aside all conceptions of duty you can imagine and understand. Give up everything you've acquired so far. So much risk you are to take. Whatever conception of duty you have so far, give it up entirely. The Krishna conception of Godhead is a revolutionary thing. If you hear about my relationship with you, it will seem to be quite revolutionary. And what is the essence of that? You have no independence. You are mine. Wholesale mine. So independently you want me, and you want to engage in some transaction with me? That's the meaning of religion. Transaction. I've got my independence, you are the Lord, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, and then I'm going to get some result. He said, independently? You want some transaction with me? So independently you want me, and you want to engage in some transaction with me? You think you can come to me for business? You are mine, wholesale. Every inch of you. You are not outside of me. He's saying this is the fact. This is actually the fact. Your proper vocation is my service, but you want to come to me for an independent business transaction, thinking you are a separate party and I am a separate party. Give all such conceptions up. You are mine, wholesale. Any questions about this? The difference. So when he's saying sarvadharmam parityajya, he's saying give up this kind of mentality, this religiosity mentality. What you do after that, that's another subject. But you're not doing it for the religious mentality. In the religious mentality, that's not, you have to give that up. That I'm this thing, you're that thing. Now this is a gradual process, but we hear about this. And we can bow down to the Lord. Please remove every layer of independence from my heart. And the ego is going, whoa, wait a minute. Can we talk about this? But every layer, and we don't even know what those layers are, but he knows. So this is this is the process, this is Saranagati. Mamekam Sharanam. And we are practicing Saranagati. We're practicing that. And that will simply increase and increase and increase. This is Krishna's call. This is the truth. Prepare yourself for that. Saranagati. Krishna has also told Arjuna, Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyajimam namaskuru mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. Always think of me. Be my devotee, worship me, and offer obeisances to me. I promise you that I am everything. I'm not deceiving you. You are my friend. You are my favorite. At least I won't deceive you. Plainly speaking, Arjuna, I am everything for you. You don't have to have any other consideration. So Arjuna, of course, is completely devoted to the Lord, but temporarily he's put in that situation. Well, according to Dharma, I mean, I shouldn't be doing that because the ladies and and all these things are going to happen, and I don't think I should, And he's and Krishna is saying, oh well. Finally, in the 18th chapter, what is that chapter? 11th chapter. No, I'll be there. Where is it? No. Yeah, 18th chapter. 1866. So, so these things we're gradually understanding, reading Gita every week together. And I was doing something once, I forget where I was, somewhere doing something or other, but I had the Gita with me. And there was some difficulty, some things, some challenges. I really can't remember the details, but what I do remember is that I started reading the Gita, and I thought, I think as long as I can read the Gita, I'm never going to have any... I felt so completely peaceful and sheltered from the Gita. I felt like, So this is also, these are all things, wonderful, beautiful things in our practicing life that any one of us can tell about some circumstance where they could feel the kind of shelter that is there. All right, any questions about this or any comments about this at all? Anything from the kitchen, Damodar Prabhu? Haribol. Okay, this is Sri Upadeśāmṛta by Srila Rupa Goswami Ki Jai, and reading the wonderful commentaries by Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. So right from the very beginning, really from the beginning, anybody who had been in the temple for a day, in ISKCON especially, knew that we don't pray to Krishna for things. Like that was Krishna Consciousness 101. Never. And that is Saranagati. But the emphasis that Srila Guru, not emphasis, but the explanations that Guru Maharaj is giving are very nice details of our practicing life in Saranagati. And Srila Guru Prabhupada knew that he was going to do that. He knows Guru Maharaj very intimately. So now we have this practicing, practical method of engaging in Saranagati all the time. And there are times when, as practitioners, that we get overwhelmed by some situation and we do forget this. But later on, this is good for me, my Lord. No matter what it is, no matter any situation which we may be very averse to something, but that person, that situation, or that anything has come in front of me by your direct arrangement, and I bow down to you, this is good for me. And then see how our angle of vision can change. Really, we don't know what that's going to be. We cannot think, well, if I surrender, then I'm going to have to do that. We don't know what will happen as a result of that. Really, we don't know. Some confirmation of something may come, or some completely changed way of looking at it that we couldn't have arranged for ourselves. So this is really our practicing life. It's called Krishna consciousness. Consciousness that Krishna is there. And that we simply have to surrender to His will. Any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
we don't really ask. We don't ask Krishna for things. And we are also hearing from the scriptures that the only way to feel that the real Ananda, the real joy of the service of the divine couple and his servitors is through greed, through an intense desire.
Yeah.
What we know is that our current desires are just crazy. They're not real.
Yeah.
So, how about asking the Lord for these things?
Yeah,
Like,
of course.
because without that desire, if we don't actually want that, we're not gonna be able to see reality.
Yes, we are definitely, our whole songbook is full of prayers. And we're hearing prayers all the time. But these are prayers for Krishna's sake. Why do we want to make spiritual advancement? For him. So let me be for you. And not saying we want to enter into this particular rasa or anything. We don't even know what we're talking about, really. But we want to please our Guru for him. Whereas in religiosity, we are doing it for me, but going to the right place to do it. If you want material enjoyment, at least pray to me for it, because I'm the one who's in charge of all of that. But that's not good. So all the different ways that the Lord has given us in the scriptures, well, this, he goes to a pretty basic level of how to be religious when you're killing a goat. To hiring things, this religion is huge. It's like what notes to play in the morning, what combination of notes to play in the evening, like all these things, bowing this way and that way, and then it's this time and that. All these things are there. But it's the motive that has to be looked at. Motive is everything. So Krishna is saying, don't do that. I'm right here. I'm telling you, everything is just surrender to me. Aham tvang sarva papebhyo. I'm going to remove all these layers and layers of deceitfulness and exploitation and lamentation and cuckoo-ness and all that. I'll take that all from you. Don't worry. Ashucha. So that's very different. When we are practicing Krishna consciousness, we have to remember that we are doing it for him. That's what devotion means. And that's a big revolution for us. Because even in approaching Krishna consciousness, practice and so on, to give up the idea that I'm in the center of that's also going to be eradicated through Saranagati. All those different layers. It's not that I'm not going to be part of that. I'm going to find myself through that. Find out who I really actually am. And the joy of my life. But always that the joy of my life will 100% be in my lolium. I want to die. I want to give up everything of me to you. It's never enough. More I want to give to you. That's lolium. And that's infinite. And it's inconceivable, joyful. And its characteristic is separation. It's not enough. Did that answer your question?
Yes. And I have another question.
Well, what should be your position, or what is our position then when we generally are doing this for our own joy? Because ultimately,
I didn't catch it for some reason.
I can repeat it.
No, it's partly because I can't see your face very well because you lights behind you. So I usually look at people's mouths. So, again?
So we're looking for real happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And at least with me, that's what motivates me.
Sure.
I just want to be happy and live a meaningful
also normal.
life. But that is not aligned with Krishna consciousness.
No, it is. Satchidananda. Sat means truth. Everything is divine. Actual reality outside. I mean, if I'm looking at reality in a clear consciousness, it is Sat. It is full of truth. It is reality. It is beautiful, divine, and of an absolute nature. Then Chit means consciousness. And above that is Ananda. It's natural for the soul to be looking for Ananda. How can we separate ourselves from that? The Gyanis are trying to. They're saying, well, even they're motivated by Ananda, but they're thinking Ananda is just I'm just gonna switch off the light and there it's all, or switch on the light and that's all there is. There's only Sat. There's only existence, absolute existence, spiritual existence, that's it. But still they're thinking, I'm going to get joy out of this. But they're not actually connecting with the source of positive joy. They're just getting rid of the mundane misery of exploitation and just feeling the self, the soul, in a very almost unconscious state. But really we want to connect with joy, overwhelming joy. We do. But what is the quality of that joy? That's what we're discussing, right? What is joyfulness? What is Rupa Goswami's other book called that we read here? The Nectar of Devotion. Where's the nectar? It's in devotion. Devotion, a drop of the nectar of devotion to Krishna will drown you in joy. It's giving. Even in the mundane world, people who decide to give charity and be helpful get more mundane happiness than those who are selfish. It's just how it is. They feel a kind of happier material happiness. And they get strength from that, depending on the quality of their charity, of course. But what I'm trying to say is, even in this mundane world, depending again on the quality of that charity, motive, goodness, passion, or ignorance, they will get a higher plane of existence in the future. So, what we're looking for is the joy of devotion. That's the difference. Not that we're not looking for joy, but the joy of devotion is not self-centered.
That's the problem.
Yeah, there's the rub. And if we try to go and hear, we've been talking about this quite a lot, but if we try to go to that plane in our mind with the mood of exploitation, we'll go to nonsense land of the worst kind. Ugh.
But your desire for happiness and joy, correctly followed, will lead you to Krishna.
It will lead you to devotion to Krishna.
Devotion to Krishna.
And we're worshipping yesterday and taking the name of Srimati Radharani. This is because she is devotion personified. She's not even caring about her own happiness. She doesn't even think about that. She is the essence of devotion. She is who devotion is. And her joy is considered to be millions of times greater than Krishna's. So much so. It is so high, beautiful, dignified, noble characteristic of the heart. It's melting the heart of Krishna. And he says, I really want to taste that. And that's Mahaprabhu. So what is devotion? What kind of joyfulness is that? We can't conceive of it, but we are on that path. And we really, when we say Pujala Ragapata, it really means really worshipping that nobility of existence. Srimati Radharani, I want to give this example because I heard it very recently. I've heard it many times and probably all of you have. But it is a beautiful thing that there's something transcendental jealousy that you will hear about. That Srimati Radharani and her group cannot bear that Krishna will be swooped away by Chandravali and her group. They can't stand it. But why? Radharani said, if she could really make Krishna happy, I will serve her forever. But she can't. She can't make him happy. I can see that. And that she wants to push in. This is my difficulty. So we're hearing these things in a really sober mood and trying to understand what devotion is and worshipping that kind of devotion as our ideal that we will serve in any tiniest little part of that will be the greatest thing we could possibly aspire for. Because it is so high and so noble. Krishna is overwhelmed to see it. There's no, and so the reason that we are very careful in approaching this subject is because we need to really try to understand what kind of quality that is. It makes religion look sinful. It makes anything other than that not so beautiful. So we are Pujala Ragapata. We are worshipping that very much. And that is our aspiration in the sense Jai Mahaprabhu. And we are worshipping that aspiration in that sense and with that understanding that joyfulness will be in an ocean of devotion, self-giving, self-sacrificing, the opposite of selfishness. Guru Maharaj said in the divine plane of Braja, no one is ever thinking of themselves to do that. I mean, in their own personal nothing. There's no personal necessity there. It is devoid of such a thing. No one thinks about it. And, we have that song, Atma Samarparna by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, describing some mood of that. And so when we are thinking of happiness, we are thinking of that, of revolutionary change of heart. And, our ego is making a big noise, and we know that. But we can pray for that sincerity of purpose from our position and recognizing maybe I'm not perfectly sincere in asking for that. But we can say that. You see that I'm not sincere, but give me your mercy anyway. We're not we can see our insincerity, but that does not disqualify us from our prayer. And that's why Prabhupada says, pray to pray. And if you can't pray to pray, then pray to pray to pray. Wherever hope springs eternal. we don't have to feel rejected at any time. We can always come in recognizing our own situation and asking for mercy and extending that also. Any other questions? Those are good questions. Anything else? We are asking and praying to change, to make a revolution in our heart, in our need and our desire, not need in a selfish way, but in our desire for happiness. What is the quality of that? And being ready to dig in and do the needful to attain to that in a sober mood. So this is all wonderful things. Jai Shri Shri Upadeśāmṛta ki jai, Jai Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai, and the assembled devotees ki jai. Would you like to lead Hari Haraya, Krishnananda Prabhu?
Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama.
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 Yadavaya Madhavaya Krishavaya Nama.
Yadavaya Madhavaya Krishnaya Nama.
Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana.
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudana. Bol. Jai Saparika Shri Shri Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Astatar Sita Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnu Paramhamsa Parivrajacharya Astatar Sita Shri Sriman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Dardev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Shri Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai. Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai. Tadiya Sakamat Ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Ki Jai. Kol Kartal Ki Jai. Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Beautiful Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. And many festivals coming up in the next week or so. Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Bol Jai. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Gurudev Ki Jai. Hari Bol. This went on a half an hour longer.
Wow.
Than usual.
The bonus, yes. And we're very fortunate to have the association this morning of Vimal Krishna Prabhu saying happy to see you all. Shanta
Yeah.
Didi, Kyo, and Bertrand Russell
Oh.
saying
Welcome.
thank you for your nourishing word, Sri Lekha.
Who
Thanks
is it again?
everyone for a wonderful class.
Jai. And
It's
who?
a mysterious man called Bertrand Russell.
Oh.
Who knows
Yeah.
who that is?
Yes, we don't know yours. But anyway, welcome, Bert. I was very happy to have you here with us this morning. Hari Bol.
Very cool.